The best European residency programs and paths to citizenship in 2026. It's now February, and the European residency by investment landscape has changed. While some doors have closed, others have opened with better terms to investors and digital nomads. So today, I'm going to give you the no-fluff, easy guide to the best residency programs currently available in Europe. And I'm talking about where to go, what it costs, and most importantly, for a lot of our viewers, how to shield your global income legally from a taxman whilst you're there. So let's dive in. Well, the first country to talk about is Portugal. This has been highly popular. The Portuguese residency by investment program has been very popular for a number of years. However, recently people thought it was over. They changed a number of regulations, including their golden visa rules. But this year, in 2026, the D7 passive income visa and the new NHR2 are the real stars of the show for Portugal. So let me give you the cost. For the D7, you need to show about 920 euros per month in passive income, which, to be honest, should be achievable for most people looking to live there. And this is the most affordable plan B in Europe at the moment. However, the tax status, this is where it gets interesting. Under their new NHR2, if you work in a high value sector like tech, research and development, you get a 20% flat, 20% tax on your Portuguese income for 10 years. But the real win, most of your foreign sourced income, your dividend, interests, rental properties, they remain, as long as it's your global income, they remain tax exempt. And then the other point is its path to citizenship, the path to passport. This is the best in class. 5 years of residency and a basic test of Portuguese, and you should better apply for an EU passport. And this right now is the fastest route to citizenship in Europe. And then let's now talk about Spain. And this has become famous for what's called the Beckham Law and for digital nomads. So I'm going to talk about what happened in Spain and the fact that it recently scrapped its real estate golden visa. But they have attracted talent through other means with their digital nomad visa, known as the DNV. What is the cost of this, you're probably going to ask? Well, you need to have an income of 2,400 euros per month. And then the tax. And this is where the Beckham Law comes in. In 2026, this year, digital nomad visa holders can apply for this. And you pay a flat 24% tax on your Spanish income. But the important news, you're only taxed on what you earn in Spain. Your global income, your brokerage accounts, your property incomes, anything, your dividends, anything you own for your foreign international earnings is tax exempt for the first 6 years. So this is a massive tax shield for global earners and remote workers. And then the path to passport, citizenship. Typically this is 10 years. However, if you're from a former Spanish colony, like most parts of Latin America and the Philippines, it can potentially only be a 2-year wait. So that's worth noting because that's a real bonus. You could potentially get citizenship in 2 years. And then the next one to talk about is Greece. And this is very popular with retirees. So Greece is known in the resident by investment world as a hands-off king. If you want residency without actually living there full time, Greece can be very popular. And what does it cost? Well, you'll need a real estate investment, and that's around 250,000 euros in regional areas. However, in central parts like Athens, you now look at 800,000 euros. But it does have various tax benefits, including 2 non-dom options. So the first one is retirees. If you're a retiree living in Greece, you pay 7% tax on your entire global income for the first 15 years. That's pension, property income, dividends, the lot. For investors, a flat 100,000 lump sum covers your tax on all foreign earnings, regardless of how many millions you may have in the bank. And your path to a passport? 7 years. 7-year wait, and you could potentially get a Greek passport. But you will need to actually live there to get the passport. But as a pure residency, Plan B, Greece is very flexible and super popular. And then we have Malta. Now, this has been known as a non-dom legend, and many people have taken advantage of the Malta program. This is definitely a program for professionals who want permanent residency from day one. They don't want to mess about, just done. I'm a resident, day one. And the cost. You can do this through an MPRP program, and you're looking at €100,000 contribution to the country. So it's not cheap, but it's permanent. You'll get permanent residency in Malta. And how about the tax? Well, Malta uses a remittance basis. So if you don't bring your foreign capital gains into Malta, then they're not taxed. Even foreign income is only taxed if you remit it to your Maltese bank account. If you keep your wealth in a brokerage account in London, New York, company in the Caribbean, etc., Malta will stay out your pockets. There is, however, and you need to be aware of this, a minimum tax of €15,000 to keep your residency active. However, you're a multi-millionaire and you're not paying tax on anything else, that's not bad. And then how about a path to passport? You're looking at around 6 years to be able to apply and get a passport. So what do you think? Let's wrap this up. If you want a passport, a fast passport in Europe and low cost, Portugal. Right now, hands down winner. However, if you're a remote worker wanting flexibility and just know you're on a fair tax plan, then Spain is pretty good for remote workers. But then if you're recently retired, you want an easy life, you want to sit in the sun, have some nice food, drink some wine and not worry about anything, well, Greece, 7% flat rate on your global earnings tax is not bad either. And then if you're on permanent residency and a sophisticated, easy non-dom rule, then Malta is certainly worth considering also. So Europe, therefore, isn't necessarily a tax trap. It's a strategy. So which of these fits your 2026 plan? Let me know in the comments. And if you'd like some specific tax saving advice and you are planning to relocate and would like to look at residency options, then please reach out to me at Frederick Capital. You can contact me by the link in the bio or message me on LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to help.